Have you ever noticed how pregnancy suddenly turns your body into public property? Now imagine carrying twins, not one baby, two. Double the kicks, double the cravings, double the love and, apparently, double the opinions. From strangers in grocery store lines to distant acquaintances who suddenly become medical experts. The comments start flowing like you've signed up for a public Q&A session. Some are hilarious, some are awkward, some are so intrusive you wonder if you accidentally stepped onto a reality show. And yet, hidden inside these strange remarks is something unexpectedly powerful: connection, humor, and the shared experience of motherhood in its most amplified form. Today, we're diving into the strangest comments I've ever heard while pregnant with twins and why they say more about society than they do about the bump. Pregnancy with twins is not just a physical journey. It's a social experiment. The moment your belly begins to grow faster than expected, the world begins to react. People stare longer, they ask questions more boldly, they assume more freely, and somehow, your grocery run turns into a live interview session. This video is a compilation of the funniest, most embarrassing, and most intrusive comments that often follow women pregnant with twins. If you've lived this experience, you'll feel seen. If you haven't, prepare to laugh and maybe rethink what you say to expecting mothers. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that humor can transform even the strangest moments into beautiful memories. The first comment usually arrives long before the belly becomes unmistakable. It comes disguised as concern but delivered with theatrical shock. "Are you sure there aren't three in there?" It is said with wide eyes and a half laugh, as if the size of a pregnant body is a punchline waiting to land. Carrying twins means your body expands with purpose and power, yet society measures that expansion against a single standard. The comparison begins immediately, and suddenly the miracle of growing to lives becomes a spectacle. What people rarely understand is that behind the stretched skin and shifting posture lies an orchestra of effort, hormones, and resilience. The comment may be lighthearted, but it reveals how conditioned we are to comment on women's bodies without invitation. Still, in the moment you smile politely, because correcting every stranger would require more energy than carrying two humans already demands. Soon after comes the mathematical curiosity. "Do twins run in your family?" they ask, leaning forward as if solving a mystery. Genetics becomes a public puzzle. When you explain that sometimes twins simply happen, especially with modern medicine or spontaneous fraternal conception, their fascination deepens. They nod thoughtfully, as though they've uncovered a rare biological phenomenon standing in front of them in the cereal aisle. The strange part is not the curiosity itself, but the entitlement to ask deeply personal medical questions in casual conversation. Fertility journeys, treatments, losses, and surprises are often layered stories that don't belong in checkout lines. Yet twin pregnancies seem to invite investigation. It becomes clear that when something feels statistically unusual, people feel invited to dissect it. Meanwhile, you stand there, balancing heartburn and swollen ankles, wishing curiosity came with boundaries. Then there is the prophecy disguised as warning. "You're never going to sleep again," someone announces with dramatic certainty, as if handing down a life sentence. The comment is often accompanied by a sympathetic shake of the head, as though you are marching bravely toward inevitable chaos. While sleepless nights are indeed part of early parenthood, the exaggeration turns anticipation into dread. For mothers expecting twins, the warning doubles in intensity. People describe exhaustion like an extreme sport you didn't train for. What they rarely mention is the resilience that grows in parallel, the teamwork, the quiet strength discovered at 3 in the morning. The strangest part of these warnings is how confidently they predict struggle, yet rarely speak of joy with the same enthusiasm. And so you learn to filter what enters your spirit, protecting your excitement from becoming overshadowed by someone else's dramatic forecast. Some comments land with humor so absurd that you almost admire the creativity. "Are they natural?" someone whispers as though asking about organic produce. The question carries layers: medical, moral, cultural, all compressed into 2 casual words. The implication that a pregnancy must qualify as natural or artificial reveals how deeply people categorize experiences. It suggests that conception methods somehow alter the authenticity of motherhood. The irony is that every pregnancy, regardless of how it begins, demands the same devotion, vulnerability, and courage. Twins amplify those demands, not their legitimacy. In moments like this, laughter becomes armor. You realize that ignorance often hides behind curiosity, and sometimes humor is the gentlest response. The world may attempt to label your journey, but the truth remains untouched. Growing to hearts inside your body is extraordinary. However it began, as your belly grows, so do public predictions. I bet you're hoping for one of each, people say with a wink, assuming a perfect balance of boy and girl is the ultimate prize. Gender becomes a lottery ticket in their imagination. When you reveal the actual genders, reactions range from delight to mild disappointment, as if you had control over cosmic design. The strange expectation that parents should desire specific combinations reveals how society romanticizes symmetry. Yet when you are pregnant with twins, your deepest wish often narrows to one simple hope: health, healthy babies, safe delivery, steady heartbeats. The rest feels secondary. Still, the comments persist, wrapped in playful tone but carrying subtle assumptions about fulfillment. In those exchanges, you learn that pregnancy invites projections. People see their dreams reflected in your reality, even when those dreams are not yours. Strangers often treat twin pregnancies as endurance competitions. "Wow, you must be huge by now," someone exclaims, eyes scanning your silhouette without hesitation. The body becomes commentary material, its expansion evaluated like a before and after transformation. For many women, body image during pregnancy already carries vulnerability. With twins, the physical changes accelerate and intensify, making you feel powerful yet exposed. The comment may be intended as awe, but it lands as measurement. Society celebrates growth in abstract terms yet critiques it in visible form. You find yourself navigating pride and self-consciousness simultaneously. There is strength in carrying double life, yet constant observation chips away at privacy. Over time, you cultivate a quiet confidence that does not rely on external validation. You remember that your body is not performing, it is creating. Another recurring remark arrives wrapped in financial anxiety. "Better start saving for college now," someone jokes, laughing as if they have delivered a groundbreaking insight. The humor rests on the assumption that raising two children at once is primarily a burden of cost. While practical concerns are real, reducing twin parenthood to an expense spreadsheet overshadows its emotional richness. Yes, there will be double diapers, double car seats, double birthday cakes. But there will also be synchronized giggles, built-in companionship, and a unique bond few experience. The strange emphasis on cost reveals how often society filters joy through economic lenses. It suggests that multiplication equals strain rather than abundance. And yet, within your expanding family, you sense that love does not divide, it multiplies. People also love to narrate horror stories. "My cousin had twins and she was overwhelmed all the time." Someone begins, settling into a tale of chaos and survival. The stories often lack nuance, focusing on sleeplessness, mess, and marital stress. Rarely do they highlight resilience, adaptation, or growth. It is as though twin pregnancy activates a storytelling reflex centered on struggle. Listening politely becomes an art form. You nod, aware that their narrative is not your prophecy. The strangest part is how confidently people equate someone else's experience with your future. Yet pregnancy teaches you an important lesson. Comparison is optional. Your journey will unfold in its own rhythm, shaped by your support system, temperament, and circumstances. Fear does not need to be inherited. Then comes the comment that blurs boundaries entirely. Were they planned? The question lands with startling directness, reducing a deeply personal decision to casual curiosity. Planning implies control, intention, and sometimes vulnerability. For some, twins arrive after years of longing. For others, they are a complete surprise. Either way, the question assumes access to intimate details. In those moments, you feel the delicate balance between openness and privacy. Twin pregnancies seem to dissolve filters people might otherwise maintain. Perhaps rarity fuels boldness. Still, You learn that you owe no one a full explanation. Some stories are sacred, meant for trusted circles. The strangeness of the question lies not in its content but in its context. As the due date approaches, predictions grow louder. You won't make it to full term, someone asserts confidently, referencing statistics as though you are a medical case study rather than a person. Numbers replace individuality. While twin pregnancies do carry unique risks, hearing them recited casually can amplify anxiety. The comment highlights how easily information becomes intimidation when delivered without empathy. What you crave in those final weeks is reassurance, not probability charts. And yet, each day your body continues its remarkable work, defying assumptions simply by enduring. You discover that statistics describe groups, not destinies. Your story remains unwritten. Occasionally, humor softens everything. A stranger might say at least they'll keep each other entertained, smiling warmly. Unlike other remarks, this one carries optimism. It imagines laughter, shared secrets, lifelong companionship. In those moments, you glimpse how twin pregnancy sparks imagination not only of difficulty but of beauty. The contrast between intrusive and uplifting comments becomes clear. Words matter. They shape emotional landscapes. When someone chooses encouragement, it feels like a gift. Some comments attempt sympathy with exaggerated pity. "I could never handle that." Someone sighs dramatically. The statement frames your reality as unbearable, inadvertently questioning your capacity. Yet what they see is overwhelming. You experience as transformative. Strength often emerges precisely where doubt once lived. Carrying twins stretches more than skin. It stretches identity. You begin to recognize capabilities you never needed before. Their disbelief becomes silent motivation. There are also logistical interrogations. How will you fit 2 cribs, 2 car seats, 2 strollers? The questions cascade rapidly, as though you have not considered practicality. Of course you have. Planning becomes a second occupation during twin pregnancy. Yet the implication that difficulty equals impossibility overlooks human adaptability. Families adjust. Homes rearrange, budgets shift, creativity expands. The strange fascination with logistics reveals how people equate complexity with crisis, forgetting that humans are remarkably resourceful. Then there are the unsolicited comparisons. "My friend had 1 baby and she was exhausted, so I can't imagine 2. The statement attempts empathy but amplifies apprehension. Fatigue becomes the headline again. What rarely gets compared is the amplified joy, the multiplied first smiles, the synchronized milestones. Duality defines twin pregnancy. Double challenge, double wonder, both coexist. Reducing it to exhaustion simplifies a deeply layered experience. As the belly reaches its peak, admiration sometimes replaces commentary. "You're glowing," someone says sincerely, noticing strength rather than size. It reminds you that perception can shift from spectacle to respect. Pregnancy with twins is demanding, yes, but it is also luminous. There is power in sustaining 2 rhythms within one body. When recognition centers on resilience rather than measurement, it feels grounding. Looking back, the strangest comments blend into a mosaic of humor, discomfort, curiosity, and unexpected warmth. They reveal how society grapples with rarity, how fascination can override boundaries, and how language shapes experience. Through it all, you grow thicker skin and softer empathy simultaneously. You understand that most comments arise not from malice but from wonder poorly expressed. Twin pregnancy magnifies everything: emotion, attention, anticipation, and perhaps that is its hidden lesson. When life doubles, so does awareness. You learn to laugh, to filter, to protect your peace, and to hold on to the profound truth that beneath every comment lies a miracle unfolding quietly and powerfully within you. Pregnancy with twins is more than a medical condition or a social curiosity. It is a journey that stretches the heart in ways language can barely contain. The comments, strange as they may be, become part of the story. Some will make you laugh long after the babies are born. Others will remind you how important boundaries are. But all of them fade in comparison to the quiet moments when you feel 2 tiny movements at once, a synchronized reminder that your body is capable of extraordinary things. In the end, what remains is not the noise of public opinion, but the deep, undeniable truth that love does not divide when multiplied, it expands beyond imagination.